looked at verses 1 to 18 sort of last time, looking at it purely in its context of its chiasmic structure. What we're going to do now is look at verses 1 and 2. Sometimes we will move a wee bit quicker than that, but a lot of the stuff in John's Gospel is just so rich, especially at the beginning. So, let's read verses 1 and 2. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Now, there's some obvious parallels there with Genesis. In the beginning, God. And in the beginning was the Word. So there's an equating of the Word with God. And then it says, and the Word was with God. Now, the Greek words used... Now, when I talk about the Greek words, I've got this information from commentaries. I don't actually know much in the way of Greek. I'm quite happy with the Greek letters. Because I did a maths degree, Greek letters are fine for me. They don't put me off at all. But I don't know Greek, really. But anyway, the Greek used there can be that it says the Word was with God. Can mean the word faced God or faced towards God. That it's implying that it's not just there's a relationship between the Word and God, a personal relationship. Then it says, and the Word was God. Now again, going back to Greek, it doesn't say the Word was the God. Now, John's Gospel is extremely Trinitarian. I know all the Gospels are, but John's Gospel highlights the Trinity. And the Trinity, basically, it's very simple terms, is that there is one God who exists as three persons. It's not saying there are three gods. Islam thinks that Christianity says there are three gods. Obviously it's wrong, but that's what they think. But that there is one God. What it means is that if you could, look at it like this, if you could do a chemical test for godness, I know it's a bit of a, just use your imagination, it's an analogy, it's not going to be perfect. Then if you could do this chemical test for godness on Jesus, you would get the answer 100% God. If you did it on the Father, you would get the answer 100% God. If you did it on the Holy Spirit, you would get the answer 100% God. They're all fully God. Now, Jesus, of course, is also fully human, which is things we'll bring out later on as we go along through John. And in fact, most of the early heresies said that Jesus wasn't human, or wasn't fully human. But anyway, that's not what we're dealing with here. And then the word, when it says the word, you probably know that the Greek word there is logos. Now, one just word of caution. Many of you may be aware that there are two Greek words for word. One is logos and the other is rhema. And some people draw a very fine distinction between them. And there is some difference, but they can also be used interchangeably as well. So it is not justifiable to base a whole theology on the supposed difference between logos and rhema. But let's work, let's use the word logos here. And that's obviously where we get our word logic from. And it means that there is reason behind the universe. Now you might say, I've talked earlier about the relationship, and if you look at most of Jesus' teaching, an awful lot of it is relational. In particular, he talks about our relationship with the Father. And later on in John's Gospel, he'll also talk a lot about our relationship with him, with Jesus. It's relational. So logic and relationship, they're not opposed to each other. They go together in the Bible. But anyway, so it means there is logic behind the universe. Now you look at things like the likes of Richard Dawkins and evolutionary theory. People like Richard Dawkins delight in the supposed, from their point of view, supposed fact that there's no reason behind the universe. We just appeared as by random chance. Now that's not true, and it's not the biblical picture that's presented. There is reason behind the universe. There's reason behind your existence and my existence. But the reason, when we talk about logic behind it or reason behind it, it's not an abstract thing. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And if you look in the beginning of Proverbs, in the first 6 or 7 chapters, it talks about wisdom, as though wisdom is a person. So in God, rationality, reason, goes together with personality. So there, we've done 2 verses of John's Gospel. It's going to take us some time to get through all this lot. But John's Gospels, well, the whole Gospel is fantastic. I just particularly love John's Gospel. But anyway, there we are. We've done the first 2 verses of chapter 1.